It is MLPDota and Johnxfire here with you today for T1 against Team SMG. And
don't even drop it after the kill, just drop it in the gank, right when you go in, just drop it. Who cares about actually using your spells? Just use the sticker.
That's why I'm gonna buy it. It's mid lane, Carl and Raging, they'll give each other a high five as we do get into it. Top lane, there could be some action though, as Arfu has shown up with mid one and Rogin. They do land the Starbreaker onto Whitemon, but Arfu, he's dropping very low now, and First Blood will already go the way of Zephyr, as they might find Whitemon, but it is going to be a much better trade here for T1, as they do walk away with the bonus gold.
Yeah, they get to stay in lane. You're really low here for mid one, all out of regen, only having the Fairy Fire. Did you manage to get the dive bot though?
Yeah, Raging Potato able to pick one up here onto Whitemon, so a bit of sweet revenge now as they do move in onto Savage. They do have the urn up there on Raging, so they want to try and take down this Morphling while they still can. But do they have the damage output? Well, they're going to try, but Savage does get the stun out. Raging is completely committed to trying to make sure he does secure this kill, and in the end they might just find it. Great persistence out from SMG.
It's still an even game. Again, you're trading off your cores here in the safe lane. It's 5-5. Both offlaners having a splendid time. Although T1 are still going here, just applying pressure onto Raji, but mid one's back to do some damage as well.
Yeah, but Zephyr's already got Roger here, I think. Cuckoo will jump in with a scream out, and Roger is going to drop. Zephyr now 4-0-0 on this Treant. And you heard him earlier on in the little content piece there is, in fact, hold that thought, because mid lane Carl, he does end up finding Moon on the Ember. He might die to Arfu though, but he'll just try and run. Arfu eventually will be able to take the kill, but Carl, he'll be happy with the trade. He does find the Ember first. And again, there's just nothing they can do about it. Has snuck up, chains her out, perhaps they can do something, but Cuckoo, who'll make a run now with the blink out, but Moon does have the haste rune up. So eventually Cuckoo will drop. Nice rotation out from Moon. And an immediate remnant back towards the mid lane.
He needs to make these plays on the side lanes and relieve some of that pressure on mid one. He's at that point where he can do that. Phase boots up. We'll see if he'll rush the Javelin next. They are going on to
Carl. That's a big pick off mid lane. He's the highest CS on the board right now. And Carl, he has no chance of survivals. They just dive him. SMG starting to get aggressive on their own end of things. In fact, they might even go after Whitemon now. Or even Cuckoo. On that Queen of Pain, as they do show up to make sure they defend this mid-tier 1 tower. But Raging, he will Sakuchi through and just get the vision out. With the Spirit Vessel already up, he's got plenty of damage available, but he may have gone too far now as Zephyr. He's going to be around, but they will glimpse him back. Whitemon, though, still going to go down as Arfu, able to pick up the kill with the Celestial Hammer, and now it's onto Zephyr. They found that pesky tree, and they should be able to get him too as Carl. He's going to try and rotate. Back in onto Arfu they go. They will finally get the Dawnbreaker down.
As you said, Mike, you know, this is going to be saving President Mid one. You know, he's under fire. They've got the spells to protect. So eventually the juicer can get to work.
Right now, Raging needs some saving, and they are going to try, but this Solar Guardian not going to help Arfu too much. The tips do come out. Arfu, he is going to be able to run for a little bit, but the glimpse eventually is going to be back from Whitemon, and Arfu, he tried to help, but they will both get shot here. Raging still very far forward here on this Weaver. Can they hold him down long enough? Whitemon does have that Static Storm available, and Raging, he will get glimpsed back, but the time lapse was a little bit too early on. Carl, not going to be able to find him. Raging fine for now, but Zephyr, he's going to have a look through this tree line and eventually is going to spot him out. Raging, how well can you juke out? They'll drop down the sentry, give the vision over, and eventually they will catch out the Weaver, but now the rotations, they'll come in. SMG, they'll try to fight this one out, but it may have been wishful thinking as they'll lose two straight off the bat, and Moon, well, he'll be the third. Oh, they tried. Save your buddy syndrome. See who they can find as Whitemon. He'll be around to break the smoke. They'll get him. Chains out, but Carl is right behind it if he does choose to help. But Remnant is forward. Static Storm, though, going to be dropped. Moon, he'll be trapped up, but there'll be no follow-up to it. So SMG, they get away with the Disruptor kill. T1, stand around and make sure those towers are defended. Oh, Carl, though, he may have gone too far. They should have the damage to try and take down this Razor. Zephyr, though, he will drop the ulti and try to help out, but Carl, he's still ticking down. Remnants forward. Moon, so close yet so far. He needs one more tick of damage, but he's not going to be able to get it. Or maybe he can, but no, Carl. He will drop eventually, but Moon is the first one to go as Raging. He even snuck in from the backside to try and help out.
So there's evasion, there's additional healing coming through with the Solar Guardian. It's a lot harder to fight into that counter fight of SMG.
Oh, top lane, Moon. Playing with fire. Yules is out. Static Storm dropped. He's got no way out of this one, surely. Roger's there behind him. They've got the Shallow Grave if they need it. He's still surviving, though, and will make it out. The Ag's Solar Guardian from Arfu just making it too hard to burst down Moon. Arfu, he'll drop for the greater cause. But you'll be happy with that as SMG. I suppose they could have relied on the Shallow Grave. And speaking of, Roger is going to get caught out by Cuckoo. Another great kill for T1. But can they find some objectives out of this? Mid lane, Carl, he's going to get caught now. This is not what you want to see as T1, but Carl, he's a tanky target. He'll try to make a run, but eventually they will take him down. Still Savage, he'll get to work like a Giga Chat, just fighting against 3 heroes, but eventually we'll just have to let them go. This mid one did have the Stone Gaze going. You've got to be very wary of the Petrify. Even as the Morphling is now raging. No, he's not going to get caught. He's just fine, but now Whitemon does get the dust off, has the glimpse back if he needs it. He'll drop the kinetic field. Raging has no way out now. Eventually will end up going down, and Whitemon, he'll be the one to survive.
Satanic without any sort of save from the hold, save from the counter fight of SMG. It's still going to be a bit of a tough time for him to just focus in and use that active.
He's got a BKB. He's all right. Scary times for Moon as it feels like he's being hunted every chance they can get, and now, knowing the BKB is down, they want to go for a big smoke up into that triangle. Scan is out. They're going to find some targets, so they won't break the smoke yet. They'll wrap around the long way and try to just sneak their way into that triangle, into mid one if they can. Great place from T1 so far as mid one. He's going to be spotted. The jump is there. Silence out. Static Storm not going to hold him in though, but the glimpse back is out onto mid one now with the static link mid one. He needs some help right here, right now. Solar Guardian, it'll come in and buy more time as he survives, but he's completely out of mana. Shallow Grave now out though. He is still alive. Can they take him out? A big Sonic Wave from Cuckoo as mid one. He is still trying, but eventually does end up dropping as now they'll turn their attention onto Raging Potato, but he'll make it out.
Actually just want to go all in. Maybe consider the axe. It's a bit early for it. You can't do damage reliever. Oh.
Yeah, Roger. He tried to deny the DD rune, but Savage did not like what he saw as now. Well, naturally, John, there's a DD rune, which means we go into Roshan. It's just tradition here in SEA. As mid lane, they are going to fight and just cause a distraction here, ensuring that SMG cannot make their way to the pit. And T1 should be able to get a very free Roshan for themselves. And in fact, they might find even more as Moon needs to be very careful. Raging, he'll make his way in, but he cannot get there. He will have to back. But now the Static Storm drop will force out the BKB up from Raging into the ulti out from Zephyr, holding him down. Hands up from Zephyr, and they've got the Weaver again. The T1 just completely outplaying the side of SMG. As SMG with their draft, they are yet to show us how strong it can possibly be. As mid one now going to get spotted out. Savage, he'll move right in. They'll get the swarm out onto that Medusa. Roger, he'll be right behind, but he needs to get within range now as the Stone Gaze is going to be popped. Sonic Wave there. He's almost out of mana, but he is making his way out as Moon. He'll take the gank and just start fighting for his carry. Make sure he survives, and he does at least for now, but Savage, he's not done yet on the Morphling moving back in, but it may have been a mistake. Can he survive through it? It's a lot of damage onto the Morphling, but Savage is still alive as mid one. He's been used up again, just surrounded here by T1. He just can't catch a break as they jump the backside. They make sure Roger cannot help out. Cuckoo just silencing up the Dazzle, and mid one does eventually drop. They have found Cuckoo though on that Queen of Pain, but T1 are happy to oblige and keep the fight going. Back onto the Ember. Moon, he'll barely survive, but Arfu cannot. The double kill is there for the Razor.
These softer heroes immediately melting or just being kited around, and I think SMG is going to have to find a way to fix that up, but it doesn't feel like they've got any easy items to pick to fix this.
Shotgun out onto mid one, but Remnant's forward. Moon, he wants to go for the fight right onto Whitemon with the BKB out. He needs to remove that Static Storm, but he's been rooted up again. Zephyr found him, but the Shallow Grave will keep him alive, but now the Static Storm drop. They control Moon. He will end up dropping his Cuckoo. He'll jump right into the backside, right after mid one on that Deucer, but can they find him? BKB out, Carl. He'll go for the chase. Meanwhile, towards the south, they are dealing with Raging as Roger now. He will go down on that Dazzle. They'll leave mid one Bs. They'll try to go back in onto Arfu and just deal with that Dawnbreaker, and they may just as Arfu. He's been slowed up and is going to drop as mid one. He thought he was safe on the high ground, but that is not going to be the case. Not against Master Cuckoo, who blinks right in, but blinks right back out. He's just not confident when Roger does buy back on that Dazzle. So they'll go back after that tier 2 mid tower. But T1, just such clean gameplay, Jonathan.
Immediate static storm, just all the control you need. And that's the most annoying hero. Sure, you could argue that it kind of leaves you vulnerable to the Weaver, but he's a much easier target to track.
Been slowed up here, mid one, he'll go for the chase as Arfu will join. Savage, he's got the Aegis up, but he may lose one life. He needs some help right here, right now. He'll try to man fight back. It's not looking great, but Cuckoo, he'll come in to try and help out. Still, they have lost the first life for Carl. He'll initiate as well. Back in onto that Deucer, mid one, having all his damage just sucked away from Carl as Arfu. He'll pop the Solar Guardian and just try to make sure that the Medusa does stay alive, but Arfu, he dies mid-air. I've never seen that. He dies in the air. Yeah, he's got that double damage up on that Morphling. That's going to be a bit of a concern here for the side of SMGs. We've seen T1 happy to just dive high ground as they sneak over. Nice ward out from Whitemon. That'll give the vision onto the Medusa, but instead they might go for after another, or maybe not. Mid one, he's targeted. He's just been completely just taken out as T1 delete him. SMG had no idea what was going on. They just did not react fast enough. They're still trying to fight as the buyback is there from mid one. They've lost Arfu and Roger though. Can they really take this fight? They're still going to try. Just chase down Carl on that Razor, but he'll be fine for now. And now the overgrowth out. Cuckoo with the Sonic Wave does take out Moon, and they even found Raging. In fact, mid one, he'll be the 5th to drop. They call it, and T1 make quick work of SMG in this game, number one.
Night Stalker, then mid one's really not under any pressure at all. And again, just safe farming time on this bot lane. So kind of even on both safe lanes, Mike. Both pause once just really just want to build up and hit their item spikes.
He tethered back to Cuckoo to try and help out, but that may cost him his life, and it does. Roger just so persistent on that Abaddon, and of course mid one loves what he sees. Will immediately tip back Zephyr.
Too much if you want to play aggressive. They've got the DP to kind of build their foundation on. For T1, they need items, they need levels. And Cuckoo.
Charge. Cuckoo's been caught out. Heals are there from Zephyr, but it's not going to be that much of a heal as Arfu. He should be able to go for a dive through the tree line, but no, they've lost him. Cuckoo, he'll be able to get out, but Raging, he's still hanging around, still trying to find a way back into this fight if they can. Charge is there in 1 second if they wish to use it, but for now, they'll just go after that T1 bottom tower instead. That's what they really want. They want those objectives, and they want Zephyr on that IO, and that's exactly what they'll get. SMG, just afraid of nothing as Cuckoo cannot defend the T1 on this Night Stalker. In fact, Nether Strike now, out from Raging and Cuckoo. He gets a little bit too close, and SMG will take him out. More rotations in, T1. They're going to keep trying. Laguna there from Carl, going to take out one. Roger's gone. In fact, Arfu now. He does get caught by that Light Strike array. Tips out from Cuckoo as mid one. He's been left behind. Carl, can he land another nice stun? He may just. He's got that extra movement speed from Zephyr. But Raging is going to show up, and now the Eclipse is going to be committed, but mid one, he's still dropping and does go down as more tips to come out. Raging Potato now, he needs his own exit, but he's not going to have it. Nightmare is there to set up, but Carl goes for a Dragon Slave instead. It may not matter though. Raging though, he does have charge back up, but he will charge back towards Cuckoo. And eventually Carl will be able to finish off the job.
Carl and Savage are sharing farm in the top jungle. It's not enough to sustain both these farming cores, and now Savage chase down, he's charging top as well.
Mana's low as well. Raging, he'll be there with the Nether Strike, but he'll hold out for now as now he does commit. Nightmare is there from Whitemon. Savage still dropping Zephyr. He'll try to help keep alive as the Fiend's Grip is going to be out. They'll try to turn now. Raging, he's going to go down first. In fact, Moon, he may have gone too far on that DP. He's very low on HP himself as Cuckoo now. He'll rejoin the fight to boot with the side of T1. They'll just dive right in. Light Strike array out. It does catch the Abaddon. Moon's gone, and Roger, he'll be the 3rd target. Just stay in touch with Savage as SMG. Into the mid lane they go. 23 Savage is going to be spotted as Moon is Invis right now. The charge is going to come in. They want to focus down the Medusa, but Cuckoo, he'll pop the ulti, and now the silencer's out. They may lose Moon straight off the bat. He'll try to use up. It's not going to be enough, though, and the Stone Gaze, it's going to petrify everybody as they catch Arfu, but he does get the Aphotic Shield time lapse, but it's not going to be enough. Carl finds him, mid-Invis, and now they've got mid one in the Nightmare. They'll take everybody else out. Mid one's the last one left. He'll try to man fight through it with the Aegis up. Maybe they could try to reinitiate, but it's not looking great for them as mid one will be left behind. Rogi, he's still trying, raging. He'll charge in. Mid one, he's on the run, and he might just make it, but Savage, he'll keep getting to work. Back on a Roger. They'll get a tie back. In fact, they're not done yet. Relocate was there onto Raging Potato, but they're having a look for mid one. And mid one does run into the triangle and kind of jukes them out. This will allow T1 to get that mid T1 tower. As SMG, they don't want to let this one go down. Mid one, he's going to come back in and maybe bait, but mid one, you are getting very low, sir. He does back off at the right moment. In fact, Raging, he does find the IO, but Moon again, just dropping so down low to the Laguna. Can they burst him down? Not quite yet, but Cuckoo, he'll go back in after Raging Potato, or will he? Crippling Fear is there. They want the DP down. Mid one, he'll reinitiate. Just lose some beams from a mile away. Just trying to stay alive and just get some damage out. But now they've got the Nightmare. Mid one, he's gone too far. He might be punished for this. And it looks like he will be Carl. He will be so as well, as he does end up dropping to SMG. So you take Carl's life, but you give up mid one. You got to question whether that's really worthwhile as Whitemon. He'll keep going onto Arfu, but the charge is there from Raging. Back in onto the Bane. They want that support gone, but Raging, he's gone too far to boot. In fact, they've got another Arfu. He was Nightmare up, and Whitemon, he'll walk away with a triple kill on the Bane.
They've got the damage. They've got the early build-up. The Scotty's next for Savage as well.
Oh, looks like Cuckoo's gone. Raging just doing so much damage. Yeah, I mean, all that, John, and it's almost guaranteed T1's going to find a double damage rune before that Roshan does get started. Raging will go for a charge out onto Savage. Nether Strike going to be cancelled off. Keep in mind, though, Raging, he does have the Ags up, and that's going to make life a little bit more challenging for T1. That Ags, it can be really game-changing in these fights. As Cuckoo, he pops the ulti immediately, and they go onto Zephyr. The IO's gone straight off the bat. Nice start here for SMG. T1, do you want to keep this fight up? I mean, they've already committed the Dark Ascension, and it is just kind of expiring slowly but surely. And the SMG, they know this. They want to reinitiate. Back on the Savage, but he'll turn around and just go for the man fight. It's now Carl. He does get silenced up. A big charge out, but it was onto an illusion. Savage is still fine, but they've got Arfu down. Now to turn back in onto the breaker. In fact, never mind him. You want Roger first, and you'll get him. They're just holding that high ground on that Radiant Triangle. But buybacks are going to be there, and the charge is immediate. Back in onto Whitemon. He'll try to Glimmer Cape. It shouldn't be quite enough. It's Whitemon. He'll try to go for a run, but they've got to find a way to try and save Savage now. But he has been left behind. And Savage will drop. And John, would you believe it? There is a DD rune before Roshan. There is going to be a counter smoke, though. T1. They'll group up as 4 and go for their own smoke. So you're still willing to fight into the Aegis. Thing is, though, it seems like they might find mid one and Roger by themselves. The rest of the team, they're across the map right now. Uh-oh, mid one and Roger, they've got to run, but nobody's going to be coming in to help out. They do at least have Raging charging in, but it may be too late for at least the first life. It will go down, TP's in, they're trying to make their way over. Mid one, he'll pop the Eclipse, but it might be all too late as the Light Strike Ray is going to come in and they've lost their Luna. Oh, the humanity. SMG, they try to smoke across the map at the wrong time. And T1, they read them like a book. Tips out. It's not really mid one's fault though, John, but tips are out as Moon now. He'll get caught by the Fiend's grip of Whitemon. And the pain is quite extreme here with Cuckoo just whacking away.
They just smoke up. Their cooldowns are so low, they can just keep going.
They will. He's there, Carl, he'll Silver Edge, and now the Dark Ascension out. Arfu, he'll be spotted first. Dust is out onto the Weaver. Roger, he'll get caught as well. No borrow time available. He'll drop straight off the bat. Raging, he'll try to turn back in onto Cuckoo, and they will get the Night Stalker. It's not a bad trade for SMG thus far. T1 second guessing as to whether they can keep going, but Carl again gonna find the Weaver, but Afu, he's gonna be alright with the time lapse out, and now the Eclipse in from mid one. They'll try, in fact the Eclipse was still off cooldown, they will throw it out now onto Savage, but he's fine. In fact Moon, he'll be the one to drop and Raging, he's been caught by the Stone Gaze, but he'll try to run as Carl, he takes down Afu on that Weaver eventually, and mid one, he's been left behind. And with the Eye of Skadi Slow from Savage, mid one is not going to be able to run fast enough to get away. Tips are out again. Cuckoo, he won't mind dying if it means mid one dying to boot.
Yeah, it's a really strong trade for T1. This is going to open up the high ground now. They've got so much damage with that dual core we talked about. Like Lina, Dusa, both here scale really well into late game, and they take objectives really fast. I don't know if you can really buy back on your Luna without the Eclipse. It just feels like you don't have much to offer, so they're going to have to surrender at least one sack, maybe two if T1 commits.
Carl, he's going to be the target here on that lane on mid one. He'll come in, but you've got no Eclipse, and the Petrify immediately out as mid one just melts. Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with Carl there, John. It was not too bright. T just completely disappears, and well, Savage, he's onto the tier 4 towers now. 29 minutes in. Why the hell not? They've hit their timing just perfectly in T1. They understand how strong they are at the moment. SMG, they'll try one more time to defend and buy time for their carry to be back up and online. Raging will charge in. That's not going to be quite enough though, as Carl just with the damage output onto Roger, forcing him back to the fountain already. Another charge out onto Zephyr. They'll try and take down that IO immediately with the Ghost Scepter. No, it's not going to be enough, but it won't matter. Afu's gone. He'll commit a buyback here on Zephyr as Moon. He just keeps rushing forward, but there's no damage output as they've called the GG. And T1 taking 2 games, 30 minutes each. And I'll tell you, John, I mean, SMG, they show some signs of brilliance, but T1, they are just a class above.